The Explorer has a skill set that you very well might expect. He is all about tramping around the map as fast as possible. And that's the big catch. He can't just mosey about as he tries to nab a material here or there or knock over a tree. He has to think about speed. The map that we're going across is 33% larger, which also means that there are 25% more enemies spawning on this map. Along with that, you get a 40% damage penalty, along with 50% less materials dropped by slaying enemies. Now you might look at that and think, man, this roadblock is so hefty. Is there any strategy that is successful? I mean, what chance have I got with that kind of odds? But there are some perks. For one thing, there are more trees that spawn on this huge map. You start off with the lumberjack shirt item, which means every tree you encounter just dies with one hit. You get 10% more speed right out of the gate, and you get a 50% upgrade on your pickup range right from the start as well. So you're good at harvesting, you're good at running fast, you're good at mopping up trees once you find them. All of this means that you can replenish your health strategically and efficiently as long as you get the right weapons, you get your speed stats up as fast as you can, and you translate a bulk of that speed stats into killing power. There's going to be a tangle of penalties that you'll have to navigate as well, but if you unlock this build, you'll have a good start towards a winning strategy. So first off, we're going to rank these, by the way, and I want to take these builds and go piece by piece through them after I introduce them. So let's start off with what I believe is the S tier build that every beginner should start with, and that is the Jousting Lance build. Some call this the Wandering Knight, and on Reddit, this is the build, everyone's favorite, or for the most part, I should say. Because basically, when you gather up 6 Jousting Lances and begin upgrading them, combining them, your speed actually directly gets turned into spearing action. The Jousting Lance scales its base damage off of your speed stats. So, the 40% damage penalty is a no-brainer. It's basically bypassed completely if you continue to scale up your speed and you have a full kit of Jousting Lances. And as an added bonus, if you fill all 6 slots with the lance, the Jousting Lance, you get a special armor/dodge bonus as well. So you've got some defensive stats thrown in. You have the focused leveling up strategy that helps you make the most of your resources, and you get to work around that damage penalty as well. So definitely the most powerful build that I know of. And so this one, definitely S tier. Next, we've got the stick build. Sticks cost less, but they scale up very efficiently. So basically, you acquire a stick, and you get to scale it up very quickly with your base damage by acquiring free level ups. But at the same time, it is very low cost. So you have plenty of materials to spend in the shop for other items that you need that can help you win the day. And also, when you fill all 6 slots, you get a big damage bonus, and they're still relatively cheap, as I said. And don't forget, since they're a primitive weapon, your max HP also gets upped as well. You still don't get the raw damage scaling that you would with the Jousting Lance. I'd put this in A tier, personally. Then you have the Screwdriver Engineering build. Because the map's huge, turrets are usually a weak point. You don't want to build a bunch of turrets and then basically spread yourself too thin by trying to basically spread them out over the map to give you cover so that you can keep picking up trees and materials. So they're inefficient, and the better way to go, if you do want to go the engineering route, is to get instead screwdrivers and landmines. Because as you continue racing around the map, you'll be able to drop these landmines in your wake, blow up the enemies as they are trying to close in, and it thins out that ball of aliens that's trying to track you down as you race across the map. So, completely fill out all slots with the screwdriver, you scale them up, you go for engineering stats as often as you can with your free level ups, with the engineering abilities, and some strategic items, such as the pencil and the stack of books. These can definitely help your engineering stats, and we'll look at some more items that also build into this as well. So I'd put this one at B tier. Basically because it does have its upside, but at the same time, the screwdrivers aren't the best melee weapon. So you're definitely at a bigger risk, and you have to pick your items more strategically in order to make sure you're in a strong position. Alright, so next we're going to look at the Cacti Club build. Basically, the Cacti Club has similar bonuses to the sticks. It is a primitive weapon, and so you naturally get the max HP added to your stat list. But it's a different mechanic. You scale up damage in the melee damage category, but instead of it picking off enemies with some quick jabs as they come in on you, it has a long cooldown which leaves you vulnerable, but then does a big sweeping arc on a less frequent basis that ends up shooting out these spikes from these slain enemies. So you have a double bonus there. You have a wide sweep of your enemies on a less frequent basis that also ends up generating a big burst of damaging spikes. So used strategically, this can actually be an effective build, and you'll also have to consider, though, that you'll need plenty of armor and dodge along with this in order to make it effective, since you have that vulnerable time between each of those big swings. So something that definitely requires a bit more adjustment, you could say, with your free level ups, but it can still become an effective build. I'm putting this weapon in C tier. And generally speaking, with all of these builds, you want to prioritize certain abilities. This is across the map what you need in order to survive as the explorer. So the one that you want the most is speed. Speed is always your go-to, mainly because your health is based heavily on how many trees you can snap up. Your consumables are your safety net as far as HP, so you need to be able to outrun your enemies, but also gather as much as you can as you go, which means more efficient harvesting, as well as being able to flee more effectively. Then you have armor and dodge. So since there's more enemies coming your way, you need those defensive stats more than you would in other cases. And consumable healing is also a big deal. So if you can grab an item like the lemonade, or I think it's the raw wound items, they can also help you scale up your health as you gather materials and fruit on the map. Harvesting is also a huge one, since, as I mentioned, gathering and outrunning are your two big priorities. Here's some items that you'll need to also succeed. First of all, you want the Pocket Factory, which basically turns every slain tree. It sounds weird, but every tree you gather or kill basically turns into a turret that spawns in that exact spot in your wake and begins taking out enemies. So you can imagine, with so many trees sprouting up and with all the gathering that you're doing, that can turn the whole map into a zone of death with a bunch of turrets pretty quick. So that's something that can definitely boost you when you need it. You'll also want the recycling machine, since there'll be plenty of materials that you'll need for those purchases, but also a lot of things that, since you want very strategic builds, you can't very well take. Then you can use more rerolls to get what you need from the shop. Generally speaking, you also want the power generator, because that's what allows you to add more damage for each movement speed that you have. And finally, you want the lemonade weird food item in order to boost your health with all the consumables you gather. So altogether, each of these builds has different pluses and minuses, some greater than others, but overall, the Explorer is a super exciting experience. It also challenges you to think about your playstyle and get little adjustments here and there. Encourages you to get creative with how to outrun these enemies and dodge them and heal on the go. So yeah, let me know if there are any items that I missed, if there's any things that you found to be a game changer from the shop. Type them up in the comments, let me know, and we'll learn together. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.